It's just an unreal atmosphere, and looking forward to more moments like that as this tournament goes on.
If you're the U.S., you don't want to get too far ahead of yourself here. Japan's a juggernaut.
All right, I need everyone watching this to understand something. What we are witnessing right now with the 2026 World Baseball Classic might be the single greatest international baseball tournament ever played. And we are still only a few days in. Now, before I get to the video, guys, again, thank you so much on the road to 50,000 subscribers. If you're not already, please subscribe, turn notifications on. YouTube's algorithm is honestly hurting small creators these days. So if you're not subscribed, you might not actually see any of my videos again. So please make sure you have that. And if you are subscribed with notifications on, we're doing a giveaway for MLB The Show 2026. If you're interested, just do hashtag the show in the comments, and we're giving out copies every couple of uploads. Now that that's out of the way, let's get right into it. So I'm talking about Shohei Ohtani hitting a grand slam in front of a sellout crowd at the Tokyo Dome. I'm talking about Aaron Judge launching a 400-foot bomb in his very first World Baseball Classic at bat. I'm talking about 2 walk-off home runs happening on the same day for the first time in the history of this tournament. I'm talking about a 20-year-old kid wearing his father's number, hitting 2 homers against Team USA, and I haven't even gotten to the Dominican Republic yet, a team whose lineup card has over 1,300 career MLB home runs on it. This is not your regular baseball tournament year. This thing has become must-watch television. And today, we're breaking it all down. The biggest moments, wildest surprises so far, where every pool stands as we head into the final stretch of pool play. Because if you're sleeping on the WBC right now, you're honestly missing out. This stuff is electric. It is so fun to watch. So stick around, because at the end of the video, I promise you are going to understand why this tournament is the most electric thing happening in sports right now. Let's start where this whole thing kicked off. Tokyo Dome, March 5th, Japan. Defending champions opening up against Chinese Taipei. And the question everybody had going in was simple. Can Japan do this again without Ohtani on the mound? Because remember, Ohtani is not pitching in this tournament. He's coming off elbow surgery, but he's still in the lineup as a hitter. And obviously that's more than enough, because first at bat of the game, Ohtani rips a double down the right field line. This dude is locked in. Second inning comes around. Japan loads the bases. Ohtani steps to the plate against Chinese Taipei starter Hao Chun-Chang on a 2-1 count. Ohtani obliterates the ball for a grand slam, which, by the way, set a new World Baseball Classic record for the most runs scored in a single inning. The old record was 8, held by both the US in 2023 and Cuba in 2029, and Japan obviously just shattered that. Now, Ohtani wasn't even done. He came up again in the same inning and singled in another run. So in one inning, Shohei Ohtani had 5 RBIs, which is also the most ever by a player in a single inning in WBC history. He finished the game a triple short of the cycle, which he kind of had a chance at, but first baseman Yen-Ting Wu robbed him with a leaping catch in the 4th. Ultimately, Japan obviously won that game 13-0, which was called after 7 because of the mercy rule. Now, here's the thing. Japan didn't slow down. The next night they played South Korea, which is always one of the best rivalries in international baseball, and Korea actually jumped out to a 3-0 lead in the first inning. And for a second, I was thinking like maybe Japan is human. Maybe Korea will find their number today. But just as I was thinking that, Seiya Suzuki hits a 2-run blast in the bottom of the first, cuts it down to 1, and then Ohtani, again, homers for the second straight night. Suzuki ends up going deep twice. Masataka Yoshida added another home run, and Japan won 8-6. Then Sunday morning, Japan versus Australia. This was the one whoever won would clinch a spot in the quarterfinals, and it was a dogfight, honestly. Australia had Travis Bazzana, the former #1 overall pick, and they were playing tough. Australia came to compete. Japan didn't score until the 7th when Masataka Yoshida golfed a slider into right field for a 2-run homer, which gave Japan its lead, which they ended up holding for a final score of 4-3, clinching that top spot in Pool C and an automatic trip to the quarterfinals in Miami. So yeah, basically Japan is still looking as good as ever, period. Now let's talk about the other monster in this tournament. It's Team USA, obviously. Come on, boys. This roster is the most stacked in WBC history for America. We're talking about 30 players combining for 65 All-Star selections, 4 MVPs on one team. You got Judge, Bryce Harper, Goldschmidt, Kershaw, Skubal, Skeens. This lineup goes hard. Bobby Witt Jr., Schwarber, Bregman, the Dumper. And then in the 9-hole, you have Bryce Terang, who hit 288 with 18 homers last year. And that's your 9-hole hitter. In the past, past, a lot of American stars had ducked the tournament, and Judge made clear this year was going to be different. He was one of the first players to commit, and he made sure we are taking this title back from Japan. We are not letting what happened last time around happen again to us, and he came to play because his first game in, he already crushed a home run, and he wanted this to feel like a real team, not just a collection of all-stars showing up. So props to Judge for orchestrating that. Obviously, Judge hits that big home run for Team USA to beat Brazil, but that actually wasn't one of the coolest stories from the WBC because that actually didn't come from Team USA, right? So Judge goes deep. USA's up 2-0. Logan Webb takes the mound for the Americans. First batter he faces, a 20-year-old kid named Lucas Ramirez. Now, if that last name sounds familiar, it should. It's because Lucas is the youngest son of Manny Ramirez, as in 555 career home runs, 12-time All-Star, 2004 World Series MVP Manny Ramirez. Lucas is playing for Brazil because his mother, Juliana, was born and raised in Sao Paulo. He's wearing his dad's number 24. He's the 17th round pick by the Angels in 2024 and spent last year in Class A ball hitting 266 with 3 home runs. 3 home runs in an entire minor league season. Not exactly a power hitter yet, but he steps up against Logan Webb, which one of the best pitchers in baseball, and on the second pitch of the at-bat crushes a 392-foot homer to right center.
He'll face Manny Ramirez's son. Lucas Ramirez strokes one deep to right field. That is back at the wall and it's gone.
But here's the best part, that was amazing. After the game, Lucas said he had been visualizing that exact moment for 5 straight months. Every night before bed, after he prayed, he would picture himself hitting a first at-bat home run in the WBC. And when it happened, he said he was running the bases saying, "I told you." Then in the 8th inning, he did it again, another solo shot. This one at 106.3 miles per hour off his bat with a 50-degree launch angle, which by the way is tied for the highest launch angle on an over-the-fence homer since StatCast started tracking in 2015. At 20 years old, he became the second youngest player to ever homer in the WBC. And when asked about the pressure of being Manny Ramirez's son, Lucas kept it real. He said, "Having Manny Ramirez as my father, it's obviously a good thing and a bad thing. It's a little harder. Everybody expects so much. I've got to paint my own picture. I've got to be Lucas Ramirez, and I've got my own path." Oh, and he wasn't the only legacy kid on Brazil, by the way. Dante Bichette Jr. was in the lineup as the DH. And 17-year-old pitcher Joseph Contreras, the son of former Yankees pitcher Jose Contreras, came in throwing 97-mile-an-hour fastballs with a nasty Vulcan grip forkball straight out of his father's playbook. This kid is still in high school. He loaded the bases in the second inning and then broke Aaron Judge's bat to get him to ground out into an inning-ending double play. Now, USA ended up winning 15-5. Obviously, it was never going to be close. Then USA's next game, they took care of Great Britain and the lovely big talker Jazz Chisholm Jr., who we love, but I'm sorry, bro. You guys didn't stand a chance. USA beats Great Britain 9-1. Scooble was on the mound. He did well. Then in game 3, Paul Skeens will get the ball next against Mexico, and then Nolan McLean, the Mets rookie, will go up against Italy. Okay, now we talked about Japan, we talked about USA, but now we got to talk about what happened on March 7th, on Saturday, because what happened that day might go down as one of the most electric, just greatest days in WBC history. We had 2 walk-off home runs, which had never happened before in the WBC. The first one came with Netherlands facing Nicaragua in Miami. The game was a pitcher's duel for most of the night. Netherlands had the worst case of runners left on base you've ever seen, with 14 stranded and 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position. Meanwhile, Nicaragua, a team that had never won a game in WBC history, was on the verge of making history of their own. Jeter Downs, who most people remember as the guy who went to the Red Sox in the Mookie Betts trade, crushed a 2-run homer in the 8th to give Nicaragua a 3-1 lead. The dugout was going crazy. They were 6 outs away from their first ever WBC win, and there's a great detail here. Downs actually thought he hit a homer earlier in the game on a fly ball, started celebrating, and it got caught. Then later, he made a spectacular diving defensive play. Then he hit the actual homer, so the redemption arc completed in a single game. But yet, bottom of the 9th, 2 outs, nobody on. on, Nicaragua is 1 out away. Sedane Rafaela bloops a single to shallow center, then Xander Bogaerts hits a grounder to third, which pops off the third base bag for a double. As Dusty Baker said after the game, they say it's a game of inches. That ball just hit the third base bag and bounced over. Now, Ozzie Albies comes up. Baker decided not to intentionally walk him because he didn't want to put the winning run on second. First pitch, down the middle fastball. Albies crushes it over the wall and right. 3-run walk-off homer. First walk-off home run in WBC history, which is just sad for Nicaragua, who now falls to 0-6 all time in WBC, but electric for everyone else. Then a few hours later in San Juan, Puerto Rico is playing Panama in Pool A. And this one goes to extra innings, actually. Puerto Rico was trailing most of the game. Panama's Ariel Urado threw 5 shutout innings and had the home crowd silent. Panama led 3-2 going into the bottom of the 10th, and up steps Darryl Hernandez, a 24-year-old and A's outfielder who hit .231 with 2 home runs in the big leagues last season. He's from San Juan. He's got the impossible task of replacing Francisco Lindor on the roster because Lindor couldn't play due to the insurance issues. But the point is, Hernandez was the guy tonight, and on a 1-2 count, he yanked a fastball just inside the left field foul pole, walk-off home run, second one in WBC history, second one of the day. San Juan completely lost its mind.
Part of the next one. 1-2, crossed left field line, deep Puerto Rico!
After the game, Hernandez said, "It's something that's truly unforgettable. I blacked out. I do not remember anything." And honestly, valid, bro. And get this, he also said, "I'm not a guy to take it out of the park." The man had 3 career home runs before that moment. 3. And yet, hometown kid just becomes a national hero in Puerto Rico. All right, now let me talk about the team that honestly scares me the most in this entire tournament, and it's obviously the Dominican Republic, guys. This team is ridiculous. Juan Soto, Vladdy Guerrero Jr., Tatis Jr., Manny Machado, Julio Rodriguez, O'Neal Cruz, Junior Caminero, Ketel Marte. It's disgusting. Their first game against Nicaragua, they fell behind early, but then the machine just started rolling. Julio Rodriguez tied it with an RBI single in the 3rd. Caminero went deep with the 2-run bomb in the 6th. You blink, next thing you know, Dominican Republic had won 12-3. Then on Sunday, they played the Netherlands, and this one was a straight-up beatdown. 4 different players homered: Soto, Guerrero Jr., Caminero, and Austin Wells. The game was called after 7 innings via a mercy rule 12-1. The Dominican is 2-0 in Pool D, and they are on a mission. They got embarrassed last time around, and they are looking incredible right now. They still have games left against Venezuela and Israel, but by the way they're swinging the bat, it is hard to imagine anyone in that pool or in the tournament for the matter slowing them down. Now, lastly, let's just rapid fire go through some other stories from the tournament just so everyone's caught up if they aren't already. Venezuela's rolling. They're 2-0 in Pool D with dominant wins over Netherlands and Israel. Ronald Acuna Jr. is in that lineup along with Salvador Perez, Eugenio Suarez, Ezequiel Tovar, and Luis Arias. Arias became the first player with 2 multi-home run games in his career in the WBC. Venezuela smacked 14 hits in their win over Israel and scored 4 runs in the first inning alone. After a heartbreaking quarterfinal exit in 2023, this team is out for redemption and they look dangerous. Cuba is 2-0 in Pool A. A lot of people sleep on Cuba, but they beat Panama 3-1 behind home runs from Yohan Moncada and then followed it up with a 7-4 win over Colombia. Now, remember, Cuba lost the 2006 final to Japan and a 2023 semifinal to the US. So they've been close before, and it looks like they're maybe getting a little bit closer this year. Italy is quietly 2-0 in Pool B, the same pool as Team USA. They shut down Brazil 8-0, and then they beat Great Britain 7-4. Italy is legit, guys. Their game against USA on March 10th could be a huge one for determining who wins the pool. Mexico beat Great Britain 8-2 behind a go-ahead 3-run homer from Jonathan Aranda. They've got Randy Arozarena, Jaren Duran, and Alejandro Kirk. The Italy-Mexico game on March 11th is shaping up to be a potential play-in game for the quarterfinal. And in Pool C, Chinese Taipei rallied back to beat Korea 5-4 in 10 innings on Saturday, which was a massive upset. And honestly, the videos coming out of the player reactions from Chinese Taipei, most of that roster was crying from when they got that dub over Korea. That emotion was just so special to see, honestly. Just as a fan of the sport and of these international tournaments, I love seeing that pride and that emotion come through. So big ups to Chinese Taipei for that huge win. And now with Japan already clinching the pool, the second spot is wide open between Korea, Australia, and Chinese Taipei. Now, speaking of Australia, obviously Travis Bazana, the former #1 pick, Australia gave Japan everything they could handle in that 4-3 loss on Sunday. This program continues to grow, and with Liam Hendricks on the roster, they're not a pushover anymore, so definitely look out for them. Oh, and one more thing, the Netherlands, Jaitjon Kelly became the youngest starting pitcher in WBC history at 18 years old in 251 days against Nicaragua. He threw 2 scoreless innings before handing it off to the bullpen, so just props to him. The WBC is showcasing some talent that we haven't seen in baseball, and it's just really good to see that happen. So let's quickly just go back over where every pool stands right now, because again, pool play runs through March 11th, and then you have the quarterfinals starting March 13th in Houston and Miami. All right, so Pool A in San Juan, Puerto Rico and Cuba are both 2-0 and sitting pretty. Canada is 1-1 after beating Colombia 8-2, and then Colombia and Panama are both 0-2 and basically kind of in trouble and out of it. Pool B in Houston, you have USA and Italy are both 2-0. Mexico is 1-0 after their win over Great Britain, and Great Britain and Brazil are both 0-2. The USA-Mexico game on Monday is going to be electric, and that Italy-USA game on March 10th is the one I am circling on my calendar. That is a huge one for who comes out on top. Pool C in Tokyo, Japan is 3-0 and already clinched. They're through. Chinese Taipei is 2-1 after mercy ruling Czechia and beating Korea. Korea is 1-1, Australia is 2-1, and Czechia is 0-3 and is eliminated. Pool D in Miami, we have the Dominican Republic and Venezuela both 2-0 and look like the clear favorites to advance. Now, Netherlands is still in it. They're 1-1 after that wild Albies walk-off saved their tournament. Nicaragua and Israel are both 0-2. Now, the Dominican Republic Venezuela game is going to be absolutely insane. Obviously, just important in determining who wins this pool. Here's the bottom line, guys. The 2026 World Baseball Classic is delivering a level we have never seen before from this tournament. The biggest stars in the game actually showed up. Aaron Judge wanted to be captain. Ohtani is putting on a clinic. The DR has assembled something Thanos wouldn't even be able to beat. We've already gotten record-breaking performances, walk-off homers, legacy kids honoring their fathers, 18-year-old kids starting on the world stage, and we haven't even gotten to the knockout round yet. So I'm sorry, Bryce Harper, because I saw those comments about, oh, World Baseball Classic's cool, but it's not the Olympics. I don't even know what to say to that, Bryce. Like, that is such a ridiculous comment. Yes, the Olympics are incredible and nice, but what baseball has created with the WBC is special AF. I don't want to hear any of this nonsense. Stop hating, bro. Period. Baseball on the international stage has always had this underdog energy. Like it's trying to prove that this sport can captivate the world the same way soccer does with the World Cup. And right now, it's making that case better than it ever has. If you're not watching this, start. If you're watching, you already know. This stuff is special. But that's all for today. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Who's the biggest surprise so far? Who do you still have going to the final and winning it? But that's all for today, guys. I'll see you on the next one.